Wow, wow, wow. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Wow. Let's see. Well done. Well done. Remember to motivate Dr. Lawrence with your comments and thumbs up. This is Chijoke. And let me quickly share the link. Sorry about this, but I must share the link on my WhatsApp page because a lot of followers keep asking me to do so they can watch from my status. So before I start, I will share the link, and please, if you have not done so, please do so. If you have not done so, please quickly do so. That is me. I have shared it on my status and I have to go off now. Yes. If you have not done so, please quickly do so. I will also share. 1 minute. 1 minute. Some people are asking me for the link, so let me give them the link. Okay, so that is it. That is it. We have to start. We have to start. Woo! Wow, 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 wow. Wow. Please, where is Nurse Lawrence? People are asking, is my, I hope the volume is okay. Sound. What sound? Sound? Is the volume okay? Dr. Temitope, nod your head. Is the volume okay? Is it okay? Yes, they said it's okay. So I will quickly start. Before the people are asking, where is Nurse Lawrence? Where is Nurse Lawrence? They want to see Nurse Lawrence. I hope Dr. Temitope is coming. Where is Nurse Lawrence? Where is Dr. Temitope? Wow, wait. I think my glass is miscleaning. Sorry about the little delay. So yes, before I bring up Nurse Lawrence and Dr. Temitope, I want to quickly engage with you, the family members, because you are the reason why we are all here. So I want to ask you guys a question, a quick question and answer section. First question for the family members. First question for the family members is suicide a mental health illness? I want to hear from the family members. Done. Okay, you said you've shared. Fantastic. Can I? They say 1.1K viewers. Wow! Wonderful! Wow. So the question now is suicide a mental health illness? I want to hear from you because your special speakers are getting ready for you. Is suicide a mental health illness? Yes, it is, and it affects the brain. Yes, Khadija say yes. Umario say yes, ma, is a mental health illness. Beautiful. Listen, the question is, yes, ma, is suicide a mental health illness? Oluwafani said no. Good. Yeah, Oluwakemi said no. Okay. Chinazam said yes. Okay. Abidemi said yes. Okay. Toyin said yes. Okay. Grace said yes. Okay. Ilausu said no. Okay. This is Temito Boman said suicide isn't a mental health illness. No. Okay. So we have no, we have yes, we have yes. Fantastic. That is exactly why we are here to, the special speakers are here to teach you. So Chijoke said, suicide itself is not a mental health disorder, but one of the most important causes of suicide is mental health. So no, fantastic. This is fantastic. So the next, before I introduce your speakers, the next question for family members is suicide as a result of witchcraft? Yes, this is because a lot of people have called to say, oh, I was bewitched. That's why my sister was bewitched. That's why she committed suicide. Oh, most people that commit suicide, they were bewitched. So the question to the family members is suicide as a result of witchcraft? Let me see your comments. Yes, of course. That's Mario. Okay. Musa say yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't know which question they are answering. Oluwayemi said no. Okay. Gloria said yes. Okay. Khadija says suicide have nothing to do with witchcraft. Okay. Odiana said, well, suicide is not a witchcraft. Okay. Chimagozigom said yes. Okay. It's interesting. Very interesting. Ilausu said no. Fantastic. I'll quickly go to the next question because most times speakers come and they teach you and go. But I want to engage you to see what you think about. So the speakers, we also tap from your knowledge and know how to either validate it or try to give you an evidence-based research in order to help you change your mindset. So the next question is, fam, my next question to you is, should we stigmatize suicide survivors? Because most people say it's evil, it's taboo, is this, is that. Some countries criminalize it and are punished. So family, should we stigmatize suicide survivors or people that attempt suicide? Should they be stigmatized? Khadija said, no way. Okay. Chibest said, not at all. No. Fantastic. Sylvia said, we shouldn't. They need love. Fantastic. Abdul said, no. Oh, dear, you make our work easy. Akin said, love. The comments of today's stuff. All right. So the last and final question before we dive into the topic is, okay, family, this is the most important question I will have to ask you. The question is, does our current, I wrote current, does our current environment allow us to speak openly about suicide? You know, most times we have always been preaching, speak up, speak out, speak out, speak up, speak to some trusted people, speak. And we read your comments. You guys are, no, the other day I spoke up. This what happened to me. So the question is not about speaking up. The question is, wherever you are watching from, does your current environment allow you to speak openly about suicide? Let's see what the family members are saying. Oh, sad. Ibe said no. Chimagozigom said no. Chijoke said not at all because here they will term it a taboo. Oh, Princess said no. Oh, Sylvia said no. Most times, most of the supposed listeners are too busy to listen. Oh, Ezine said no. The society condemn survivors. Oh, everyone is saying no. So I hope the speakers are hearing because we are going to use your responses to talk to you. So tonight, we are going to look at suicide part 2. Last week, or last time, rather, I think some weeks ago, we talked about suicide. We looked at the signs and symptoms. We looked at whether it's a mental health illness or not. We looked at whether it's a taboo or not. We looked at that some countries criminalize suicide. And we also looked at the impact it has. And Nurse Lawrence and Dr. Temitope gave examples. And we also read from the family members. Tonight, we are looking at the part 2 because you all thought that is not enough. You needed more. And you've been calling, you've been writing, you've been requesting. You want more because you feel it's like a cancer that has eaten so deeply into the society. And yet, victims or survivors or even the family members of suicide, people that have died from suicide, have really not gotten any help. And yet there is no open conversation about suicide. So I want to say this to you, fam. Do you know that till date, 20 countries globally, I repeat, 20 countries globally, 9 of these countries are African countries, which includes Nigeria and Ghana, they still criminalize suicide. I know we talked about it the other time. So without going deep into the fact that 20 countries all over the world, of which 9 of these countries are African countries, which Nigeria and including Ghana are part of, criminalize suicide. That is why survivors of suicide, or people that attempt suicide, face huge fines and imprisonment, or both. Now, yet, a whooping number of deaths as a result of suicide still occur in this country, including Nigeria, upon the fact that they criminalize suicide. Yet, the country that criminalizes suicide have one of the highest rates of suicide in the same country upon the punishment that is being given to survivors as deterrent. Yet, they don't. Irrespective of the poor statistics, I must say. In Nigeria, for instance, statistics as a result of suicide by death is so poor. Because, are you surprised? No. This is because people hide away. If people attempt and fail, they dodge. If people die as a result of suicide, they hide. They don't want this stigmatization. They don't want people to shame and name them. And yet, we still see with our eyes people jumping into the rivers. We still see people hanging themselves. We still see people buying sniper, all this medication that will kill rats and others. They drink it and die. We see them. So now, my question is, the criminalization and imprisonment of suicide, is it not the reason why we see the taboo treatment, the stigmatization? I just asked you all, does your environment allow you to speak openly? Not even one person said yes. You all said no. Your environment does not allow you to speak openly about suicide. If you don't speak openly about suicide, how can you get a kind of support, a kind of training, treatment? How can you be supported in order not to commit suicide when you're not allowed to speak of your thoughts? The worst of it all, as we said last time, religious body, traditional worshippers, societies, government, laws, they tend to treat people with suicidal ideation as criminals or witches. Again, before I want to introduce the speakers, but for you to know this, suicide is a public emergency. Suicide is a public emergency and it requires urgent attention because one moment is enough for them to kill themselves. It is a public emergency which requires urgent attention. Tonight, Nurse Lawrence and Dr. Tenitope, they are here to teach us about the positive coping skills. Positive coping skills based on evidence-based practice to help us change our mindset about suicide. Yes. So tonight's speakers are Dr. Tenitope and Professor and Nurse Lawrence. They are here with wealth of experience. Professor is a professor and a lecturer in the Department of Sociology and Criminology, while Nurse Lawrence is a renowned nurse who has looked after mental health patients for 52 years, and he has a lot of training and certification on suicide. Yes. And we allow them once again to quickly greet the house. Yeah, they're saying, welcome, Nurse Lawrence. You are welcome, Nurse Lawrence. You are welcome, sirs. You are both welcome, sirs. Chinazam did not say anything. Welcome, Dr. Temitope and Nurse Lawrence. Yes, I'll stop reading. So, Dr. Temitope, can you welcome the family members? They are so happy to see both of you.
Excellent. In our mind, always in my mind. For 2 weeks, I was almost feeling sick because I can't see your faces, I can't hear your voices. So please, in our mind, always in my mind. Each day as it passes by, your thought fills my heart, and my destiny is always in my hand. To the beautiful in our mind family, I sincerely appreciate everyone. If you permit me to say it this way, using the French word, I adore you all. Thank you so much. Nurse Lawrence, I'm here as your student. I'm here as your son to learn. Thank you, Nurse Angel.
Okay, over to you, Nurse Lawrence.
I
Your students are here. You have
no.
Lawrence.
Please,
You
please.
have Nurse Lawrence. You have 1,050 people, over 1,000 people listening to you tonight, including myself and Dr. Temitope. What do you have to say to us all?
In our mind is in my mind, and I'm reaching out to all of you. I'm really grateful that you guys are looking forward to this session, and it was a really productive session, I believe, in our last one. And the fact that more and more of you have joined tonight suggests that people are thinking about it, people are talking about it, and when you're thinking and talking about it, it becomes less of a taboo. Bearing in mind years and years ago, when it was a lot of it was a real taboo years ago, people dare not talk about it. There are still things that society don't talk about it, but the fact that the numbers are growing, it is really encouraging. So really, in our mind, it is in my mind with all of you. I'm there with all of you.
Nurse Lawrence! Whoa! Welcome to the family. Let me see what the family members are saying. Oh, is it your welcome, Dr. Lawrence? No, my soft Nurse Lawrence, you are amazing. Let me see. Young, oh, Young! Young is Nurse Lawrence's daughter. Absolutely. Nurse Lawrence and Dr. Temitope are raising awareness. Thank you, Gabby. Gabby. Absolutely. Listen, look at the viewership tonight. Please, please. I think we have to Sylvia said Nurse Lawrence is now a full flesh in our mind member. Yes, yes. I will talk to you guys about what we are planning, Nurse Lawrence and myself, what we are planning for the family members. But before I go to the first question, I want to appeal to you guys. We are going to stay at least 2 hours tonight because a lot of people really, really want. The last time I was crucified for stopping it. This is a 1 hour program, but they asked for more. So I'll give it to you. We have to go 2 hours tonight. Yes. So without further ado, I will quickly go straight to the first question. And Nurse Lawrence, we are going to start with you. Nurse Lawrence, is a fact, a known fact, that the thoughts, suicidal thoughts, is very common. A lot of us have one time or the other thought of killing ourselves. The thoughts, like when you are in difficulty or anything, you say, "Oh my God, I wish I was dead." Oh, I don't. The thought is not a strange thought. It's very common with most people, including myself. However, Nurse Lauren, the actual act on suicidal thoughts is a difficult matter altogether. Last time, when we had our review, people were like, what are the causes of suicide? We still are not clear about the causes of suicide. So now, what do you think, Nurse Lawrence, is the main causes of suicide in your long time experience?
I think mental illness in part is part and parcel of it. Yeah, and I'm sure a few weeks ago there was a consultant here talking about depression and all that. So, um, so depression, schizophrenia, personality disorder, people who use drug and alcohol, those are conditions that may lead to suicide. And I think I have to give praise to Chijoka, who said that suicide is not a mental illness. I hope Dr. Temtopi agrees with me. Suicide is not a mental illness, but suicide is a potential consequence of a mental illness. So in my experience, when people experience stresses, they begin to sort of stop coping because of the amount of stress that's going on in their life. And that's where you and your family and everybody else needs to come in and support the person, because if it doesn't, gradually it'll become so difficult that suddenly suicidal thoughts comes into mind because the pain, and there's a lot of people out there suffering, and a lot of people tells me when I work with them, and also I went to a conference many years ago with about 500-600 women, most of them self-harmed, and they're saying a lot of the time the pain, psychological pain, is so much in their head that they self-harm to relieve themselves of that pain. It's easier to cope with the pain in the hand or the legs or in the body than the psychological pain in their head. So, um, so that is another sign that you and I, Angel, we look for when we're looking after patients. And that's why when people come into hospital, for example, if they got depression, if they got schizophrenia and all that, one of the questions we ask people is, do you have thoughts of harming yourself? Because a lot of people will, especially if you are depressed. It's almost logical, isn't it, that if you're very depressed, and some people could be so depressed where they're lying in bed and they're not able to do anything because their brain shuts down because they're so depressed. But as they come out of this depression, that's when they get more dangerous because they are able to plan things. Uh, so this is where you and I ask people questions when we look after them on a day-to-day basis, especially when they've been crying or they've self-harmed. We're saying to them, do you still have thoughts of harming yourself? And often we will say, have you got plans to kill yourself? Because here we are assessing the motivation to kill themselves, assessing them, and if they say yes, then our next action will be to make sure we keep them safe. Yeah, Angel, am I right?
100%, sir. Sir, just before I go to the next question, I want you to see this. Some people, it's little things that make the big difference. Every little helps. Because you called Chijioke by name, she's dancing, clapping, in fact, she's so happy and she's celebrating, pinning it to say, Nurse Lawrence calls my name in an English way. So thank you, Nurse Lawrence. You know how to really touch the hearts of people. That's why people really do love you. Thank you very much. So, Dr. Temitope, the family members, I'll just mute Nurse Lawrence when I'm asking. The family members have confirmed that even if suicide is not mental health disorder yet, as Nurse Lawrence said, suicide is majorly as some like causes of suicide. One of the main cause of suicide is mental health illness. So what they are saying is some people with mental health illness are suicidal and they want to end it all. Who wouldn't feel like that when you feel you're no longer with it? And also, as he mentioned, apart from depression and all this, mental health illness that contributes to some people wanting to take their life. There are other issues like losses. You know, when you lose your job, you lose this. You some pain. I heard him talk about pain. Now, these are also a consequence of mental health illness. Now, Dr. Temitope, I want you to answer this question. You are actually in Nigeria. You know yourself, Dr. Temitope, how mental health and suicide or attempted suicide or survivors of suicide, how they are segregated, they are stigmatized. No one wants to marry from the family that have ever committed, attempted, or committed suicide. You know how they are being discriminated, how they are being out like that, like an outcast. I want you, Dr. Temitope. Sometimes people say they are bewitched. People, you heard them. Some say yes, no. People say it's as a result of witchcraft. Even in the Bible, they will use Bible to quote. They will use Quran to quote. They will use the law to quote to empower them to continue the stigmatization of the stigmatized. Because once you're mentally you commit attempt suicide, you're stigmatized. Then when you survive it, you're re-stigmatized. Dr. Temitope, is suicide witchcraft? Is it as a cause of witchcraft? If not, what do you have to say to your fellow Nigerians regarding victims of suicidal survivors? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nurse Angel. It's a pleasure to stand before a giant, before a hero, and a father.
Yes.
Nurse Lawrence, I'm really happy I'm standing beside you, and I feel very, very honored. In our mind, always in my mind, and my destiny is in my hand.
Correct.
These two simple tenses provides the most immediate solution to the problem of suicide. The
True.
moment you start thinking that people have good thoughts towards you and that we're always thinking about you and that you are in people's mind and allow others to preoccupy your mind and that your destiny is in your hands. You can't afford to waste it. So now
Yeah.
let's synergize. Let's make meaning out of the discussion. Culture, religion, these are two important major factors that often shape our orientation about life. For those of us in Africa, because I'm glad that our audience today are from every part of the world. In
Correct.
Africa, North Africa, South Africa, East Africa, West of Africa, Central African Republic, in Asian bloc, those in the Europe, those in America. It's a pleasure to know that you are there tonight. And we want you to understand that in contextualizing the knowledge, making meaning will make you listening tonight also an agent of change.
Correct.
Yes, of us in
Correct.
Africa, that presumption that there is what they call wizardry or witchcraft activities. And there is also the problem associated with this cultural bias. So there is that temptation to want to also assume that one of the causes of suicide is these spells that are being casted by these spirits, or what you call spiritism or spiritual activities. But please, let's call what it is its name. Suicide is when you have a personal thought to take your life. And understand this fact that wizardry or witchcraft or spiritism has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. Now, imagine, for instance, as a student, you write an exam. Possibly you did not prepare well for the exam. And because you are discouraged, your friends will slight you, will make fun of you, and an evil thought preoccupies your mind. There is nothing like wizardry or witchcraft anywhere. Or that you just lose a job, or that you've struggled over years to get a job, you couldn't get one. Whatever be those associating factors, all right, that is creating a personal problem for you. It's a personal problem. Depression is a personal problem. And it's already affecting your emotional stability. It's affecting your mental capacity, and the thought to take your life begins to set in. Please understand, it has nothing to do with wizardry, spiritism, or witchcraft. Yes, our culture tends to believe, we are African traditionists, and most of our activities revolves around our cultural, what you call, naturally as a teacher in the classroom, you want people to know that we seek ways to relate with the supernatural. So for those of us as Africans, we have many ways we relate with the supernatural. One of which is when you find people esteeming the culture, and that gives room for ritualism, spiritisms. And by so doing, some of those distorted reasonings believe that there is somebody in your lineage that is seeking after your life.
Not Nurse Lawrence, that's bad network. That's witchcraft.
It's beyond the audience with me.
Yes, yes. Go on,
Let
sir.
me pass a little. It has
Go,
nothing
go.
to do with witchcraft. It has nothing to do with wizardry. It has nothing to do with these cultural induced, associated problems. But please understand, whatever the issue is, identify it and solve it. Why? Your destiny is in your hand. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So, Dr. Temitope, thank you. Oh, dear me, that is bad. The network has kicked him out. He will still come back again. Nurse Lawrence, why I asked that question is we get calls, people write, oh, somebody bewitched my uncle and they killed themselves. Is that bad? Is that bad? Because they feel suicide is not acceptable, is negative and everything. Yes, we don't accept it. There are many things we do, Nurse Lawrence, that is not acceptable. Stealing is not acceptable, Nurse Lawrence. Lying is not acceptable, Nurse Lawrence. A whole lot of things are not acceptable. Yet, we don't segregate, call it witchcraft and this. We don't stigmatize, discriminate, or outcast those people that steal and lie. We just say they did wrong, or we just try to teach them not to lie any longer. Nurse Lawrence, there is a question on the page. The question on the page is from Florence Arowulo and Roti G, as well as Ogundeji Grace. These people ask the same question repeatedly. They said, is there any remedy for suicide? So what they're asking us, Lawrence, is there any coping skills to avoid? You've talked about the causes of suicide. You've talked about what they are. They heard you. And Dr. Temitope also said suicide is not witchcraft. It's exactly what you said it is. Now, family members want to know, is there a remedy? What is the coping skills to avoid someone committing suicide? or prevention? Nurse Lawrence. Unmute yourself, sir.
All right, am I unmuted?
Yes,
Hi.
yes,
Well, that's a $1,000,001 question, isn't it? That
yes.
um, asking for a remedy, that's going to be difficult. I think being aware, and we have spent a lot of time saying to people that mental illness is a condition that could lead to that. I'm also saying that it will lead to for everyone, but sometimes it will. So, and there are times when people are very, very depressed. They can't even hear or talk to people, but you being there for them, being available to people. And this is why you and I are nurses, because we look after patients 24 hours a day. We are there for someone. So when someone is very depressed and they can't eat and they can't sleep and all that, what do? We give them tender loving care. That's, isn't it? That's the phrase. And I'm sure with over 1,050 or 1,100 people here, when people become aware of these, it will spread, because it's spread from your family to family to family. And before you realize it, by next month, it will grow. And gradually, it will grow globally. In fact, um, we are much more aware nowadays of helping people who are mentally ill, of helping people um, who are very stressed out. So being there for them. Now, when people are ready to receive help, when they have gradually recovered. So in the UK, for example, when people is unwell, they need medication. They do. That's medication will help hopefully bring uh, their mood up a little bit more than what it is on a scale of 1 to 10. When they're very, very depressed, they might be on a scale of 2. So when they take medication, it may gradually go up to 5. And that's when you and I in hospital, we spend time with them, we explore what's going on that makes you that depressed. Is it a psychotic depression? Is it a reactive depression? We try and find out, we give people time to talk about it. And when the person is at a level, and this is where the person is asking, isn't it? Is there a remedy? The remedy is being there for the person,
Fantastic.
allow the person to explore. If you got the time, fantastic. By giving people time, you are helping them. Now, at some point, when people are making recovery, as they come out gradually towards the depression, one of the things we teach people is problem solving. Yeah,
Fantastic.
when we are, most of us are problem solvers when we grow up. It's a natural tendency to be able to solve problems, and some people solve it better than others. But as we get stressed and more stressed and more stressed, those coping skills disappear, and we may have to teach them how to problem solve again. We need to teach them the model of problem solving, so that when they face that situation again, they can write down, they can put in paper. And quite often, when I'm working with a patient, we go through the model of problem solving, and I'll teach them to put it on the paper. Like, what is the problem? What exactly is the problem? Let's get to the root of the problem that is making you feel depressed. Yeah, and then you look at solutions, and then you question each one of them, and then you choose one. So that's the problem solving skills, and that may help people to survive and build on, and hopefully make their life better. Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Fantabulous. Nurse Lawrence, thank you. I'm smiling. I'm so happy. Nurse Lawrence, you see, you just said it all. The long and short of it all is that, yes, what Nurse Lawrence is saying is there are therapies that will help us build our coping skills in order to avoid committing suicide. As we said earlier on, at the beginning of the talk show, the thought of suicide is not uncommon. It's very, very common. The act of suicide is now the issue, which is an emergency, a public emergency that require urgent attention. family is correct. I want to say this because it's important. I add it. Suicidal crisis, suicide itself, or the attempt of suicide relates, even the thought of suicide relates to earlier negative experience. Listen, nobody, Nurse Lawrence, and Dr. Temitope, I've never seen anybody that is happy. Wow, I love life, then I kill myself. It doesn't work. It's like it doesn't work like that. I love life, unless, like you say, the person is mentally ill and they're maybe in their manic stage, that they are so manic that they end up dying as a result of accidents. What we are trying to say, Ms. Lawrence, in buttressing your point, is most times the thought of I can't bear it anymore, the thought of I am low in spirit, the thought of isolating myself, the thought of I don't want to live again, is as a result of negative experiences you face in life. It could be separation, it could be rejection, it could be loss, it could be loss of loved ones, it could be violence that happens to you, it could be an abuse. Some people are abused, rape and etc. It could be definitely mental health illness. But you said, Nurse Lawrence, talking. And I want to add listening, talking. Listen, some people don't know the importance of talking. Some people, I will tell you, like you, Nurse Lawrence, someone said to you, 28 days, I kill myself. You said, then give it 28 days. And you gave the person at least an hour. You spoke to the person, you listened. Talking requires listening, because it's not about you talking, it's about you listening. Nurse Lawrence, some people are suicidal, Dr. Temitope, just because no one is listening to them. No one. Oh, they feel neglected. Neglect is enough to make someone to, nobody loves me, I'm alone in this world, nobody is listening to me. Nurse Lawrence, thank you very much. The act of listening and talking to people is enough coping skill that can view, because when you're talking, you tell them, talking, like I said, all this therapy of this, therapy of that, planning, giving them this, do this, don't do this, is talking. It's so important. Sometimes, like Nurse Lawrence, you said in the beginning, asking them, do you want to kill yourself? Sometimes when you ask somebody that is feeling so bad that they want to end it all, that question, they now, oh, do you want to hear me out? Do you want to listen? Can I get help? I don't think so. But when you're able to engage them, it's enough to remove their mindset, at least at that moment, from harming themselves. So I want to thank you. I want to see what the family members are saying. We've been talking. I like engaging them to see if they have any question. And I call upon you, if you have a question, please bring your question. So she says suicide is totally not an option. Okay, definitely. Gigi, okay, talking can help you heal from the apps. Talking is a life healer, honestly, especially listening to the person as well. Is enough coping skill. Yes, I agree. Thank you very much. Don't ask people because some are bad. You see, Nurse Lawrence, what Jessica could be saying is, don't ask people if they want to kill themselves because they're bad. But that's the myth. The myth is don't ask. It will make them do it. But they don't know it's almost like very important. I have been restricted. Okay, suicide is never a solution. Aisha Bala said, when someone is neglected and not listened to, he or she will think of committing suicide. Some people, absolutely. Boma said, someone told me that they wanted to commit suicide, and when they turned on one of shows, maybe one of our shows, they found a way out. And it's true. These are the testimonies we get. They say this our talk show is a lifesaver. So I want to ask Dr. Temi Tope a question. Dr. Temi Tope, um, just like I am looking for is always the best. All right, we've talked about this over and over again. I think at this stage we need a real life experience to really look at it. But let me see. Okay, this one is saying anatomy. You've told us about anatomy and philosophy or physiology. Okay. This one is related to one. Beatrice Oluwawumi said, "Is suicide an option after all hope is lost?" Dr. Temitope, Beatrice wants to know. Beatrice Oluwumi said, "Is suicide an option after all hope is lost?"
Thank you very much, Nosinja. Thank you very much, Nos Lawrence. In our mind, always in my mind. Please, that question is very important. Is suicide an option when all hope is lost? Please, you will have to permit me to share with us as a classroom teacher. Now, Olawumi, Beatrice, there's what we call in philosophy logic. Logic is the science of reasoning, and you should learn to think correctly. For everyone listening from every part of the world, please learn a lesson that whenever you are to make a statement, that statement has two parts. It has a premise and it has a conclusion. Now, when the premise is faulty, your conclusion will be illogical, will be incorrect, will be unacceptable. Now, looking at what Beatrice Olawumi is asking, the final, and that conclusion is premised on when all hope is lost. Now, Beatrice, there is no time that hope is lost. That's not true. Even in medicine, there is no time that all hope is lost. No. And please learn a lesson again. Even if you believe.
Oh, 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 ow! The network has kicked Dr. Temi out. Woo! Hopefully he will come back again. Um, Nurse Lawrence, we have a question on the screen, and it's talking about um, how do we do? But before I ask the question, Ms. Lawrence, I want to say something. I want to remove the question. I will ask this question. Ms. Lawrence, most times we have, it depends on the environment you find yourself. For instance, in America, we could have weapons easily available. People easily access arms like guns, which they use to commit suicide. Yeah, that's in America. That's different here in UK because firearms is not easily available here in the UK. So also in most African countries. However, we know that the most common, especially in Africa, or if I want to say people that have responded to us from Nigeria, they say that they die mostly. I think they said something about 40 something percent die by hanging, or by jumping in. There is a river where most people go and jump in. It's so big, and in Lagos State. And also, they buy rat poisoning. You know, in all these African countries, I don't know about your country, back in your country before, in UK, there are rat poisoning. Okay, I think Dr. Temitope is back. So there are rat poisoning, Nurse Lawrence, that people buy to use to kill their rat, but they use it easily to commit suicide. So we would say that easy accessibility of all this means to commit suicide is also, I think, Nurse Lawrence is also facing network issue. You freeze sometimes. So easy accessibility to weapons or means of ending your life is also an advantage to those people that want to commit suicide. That is why, Nurse Lawrence, in mental health institutions, they try to remove all the easy access of weaponry or arms, whatever you want to call it. They make sure it's not easily available to you. That is why they are safe. They call it a place of safety. Nonetheless, Nurse Lawrence, according to Chinazan, she's asking, how do we know when someone is about to commit suicide, especially if that person is not coming off straight? Nurse Lawrence, you know yourself. In hospitals, even when you ask them, because they don't, some people talk. You ask them, do you want to commit suicide? People say yes. Some people don't say yes. After they say no. After a few days, you see, they've attempted to kill themselves. So Chinazam is asking, how do you know? What are the signs and symptoms? What are the signs and symptoms of someone that wants to commit suicide that is not speaking out? What do you think? As someone that have worked with mentally ill patients, how can you use your 52 years eyes to look and see these people, even if they are not speaking out? Okay, sorry, you're muted. I'll unmute you. Yes.
Thank you, Nurse Angel. Thank you. That's not an easy answer to question because you and I work in a hospital,
Yes.
which is a lot easier, but in the community is a lot more different. Yeah.
Okay.
And when we go from country to country, again, it's even more diverse in that way. So,
Absolutely.
but you may remember, even in the UK itself, up until 10 years ago or something like that, you are now not able to buy too many paracetamol. Do you remember
Yes.
that? So
Yes.
your question was about availability of the means to kill themselves. So there are things that they can do. I noticed when I go to underground in London, there are some places where there's a almost like a screen. In some London Underground, there's no screen and you could quite easily
Correct.
jump on the. But
Correct.
in some station,
Sorry, sir. Sorry,
yeah,
sir. You know, you're talking to me that knows what you're saying. I need to explain it to the family members. So, what Nurse Lawrence is saying, because just like we know in Nigeria, there is this, I don't know the name, but if they tell me, I'll be able to read it. There is this river in Lagos State that people just go, it's just an open, people just jump into it. They don't need to struggle. They just, it's open. They just go there, bam, jump into it and die. So Nurse Lawrence is saying that the easy access here in UK, most people will say, I'm going to train station because it's easy for them to go there and the train will, because train come with a heavy speed. So because the British government is aware that train station is very open and easy access for people just like arms in the US. So what the British government have done, they are now changing their system of building rail station. They now, you even if you go to some train station, you can't kill yourself because there is no gap. The door will just, you will see, there is no, I don't know, these people are so smart. You just go to train station, the door will open. You can only enter inside the train. You won't be able to jump inside the rail station to kill yourself. Dr. Lawrence, Nurse Lawrence, Continue.
Yeah, yeah. So there was a question there: is how do you recognize that? So um, it's it depends, isn't it? You and I worked in hospital, and when people come in, they're probably at the height of the crisis. But in the
Correct.
community, and I'm hoping now to reach out to families,
Okay.
because if you got someone, for example, young children, when they are growing up and they got exams, they got all these stresses, if their behavior change and you've observed them, yeah, then you need to perhaps sort of interact and ask, ask them directly or indirectly saying, how are things with you? Is there anything in your life that's causing you a lot of stress and all that? So, because in the community, in the worldwide, there are a lot of lonely people out there that don't have someone they could have a conversation with. Now, another symptom that is very obvious is someone is crying by natural curiosity. You and I will say, you seem to be in distress. You want to talk about it. So we
Yes.
are now offering someone time. In the ward, we often see that. But out in the community, do we see that? I'm not sure. That's why I said to you there was a campaign that if you're waiting by the station and you see someone who you think this person looks like he's about to jump into there because of what their body language or the way are they crying or they look distressed. You go up to the person and say, "Are you okay? Do you want to talk about something?" So it's good to talk. Remember the message the last time was it's good to talk. So it's about recognizing. But one key thing that is inevitable and often leads to suicide is self-harming. Now, people self-harm in lots of ways. Some people will cut their hands, cut their legs and all that to relieve the distress. Now, if you notice that, you're going to need to take some action and really have a good discussion and listen, like you said, to people. Here in the UK, because uh, there's a lot of help in the UK. If you see someone like that, you'll be able to help them to go to A&E where they get a full mental health assessment. I don't know what happens in Nigeria, nor do I know what happened in Asian countries. I don't know whether the facilities are the same. Not every, every country has got that sort of facilities. So, here, if you and I are out, in company with others and someone is really distressed and crying their eyes out, you and I can go to the person, sit down with them, give them the time to find out and ask those questions. And then if they're really that distressed and they're saying, yeah, life is not living and all that, we could easily say to them, look, I'm really worried about you. Do you mind? I would like to take you to A&E to get you some help. Or you can get them to contact the GP so that they can maybe get seen and then they can be referred for counseling, psychotherapy, etc. I'm not sure what it is in other countries, so I really can't speak for the people in the world that needs such help, you see. Dr. Temitope might have the answer to that.
Yes. Before Dr. Temitope comes in, I just saw this. Faith, I want to sympathize with you for having lost your mom. I don't know. It's so like by so sorry. Um, um, I think I'll give you a call after, so we'll talk more, Faith, because Nurse Lawrence, you don't know what it means. I feel like crying. Nigeria is not a place people admit to this. For Faith to publicly say this, she didn't even say it in in total. She just gave a hint about it. For her to do this is because of what you and Dr. Temitope, how you've been giving people awareness, giving people hope, giving people strength and the voice to speak out. She says suicide is not an option. Reason I hated my mom and her decision. So, Faith, please don't hate your mother. You see, for her to say she hated her mother is because probably what she had to face, Nurse Lawrence and Dr. Temitope. I tell you, because I'm a Nigerian, people will not say it because it's something that is not is a taboo. If you were reading comments, I know one thing you did well, Nurse Lawrence, which the family people celebrated. A lot of people, your responses to their comments on that video, they posted it on their wall. They went to their page, posted your response and said, wow, Nurse Lawrence responded to me. Wow, they were done. You see, there are little things that people don't really, think of doing that make the big difference. For her to say this, and for her to say she hates her mother, I think she's still grieving, Nurse Lawrence. She has not forgiven her mother because a lot of people has fed back to us that they don't want to speak because they are always victimized and stigmatized because of actions of their parents. And sometimes they say they don't end up getting married. Again, Faith, please send your phone number to the admin members. I think you'll be choosing for one of something I and Nurse Loris are planning to do to empower people to be trainers themselves. But we are still looking at it. Not promising you much, but I want to talk to you. Um, Nurse Lawrence, regarding the question where they say, what are the signs and symptoms? Or how do we recognize in the community, in our wards, in mental health vicinity, we take away a lot, especially when we know that this person is suicidal by assessment. We take away a lot from them. So even if they are suicidal, they can't kill themselves because they don't have the means to do so. But in the community, they have the means. How do people recognize it? You've talked a lot about the last time they asked the same question. You said, even saying how are you is enough to deter people that want to commit suicide. But tonight they're asking, how do you even know that they want to commit suicide to enable you to say, how are you? I heard your responses. And part of something I want to say to add to it is, it's simple. It's not that it's simple, it's hard. I don't want to go against what my boss said. It's hard. It's hard. And some people cover up. Some people mask. Some people mask. They mask up. They smile, but they are dying internally. However, why I say it's simple is if you are able, like we've all said tonight, most people need to talk, communicate. If you know people, if you know your friends, if you know your sons, your daughters, your wife, your husband, your parents, your relative, your neighbors, your colleagues in the offices, if you know them, you know when they're happy and when they're not. You know when they're low and when they're not. You know when they're hopeless and when they are celebrating. It's not that everybody that is hopeless want to kill themselves. At least signs and symptoms. Like you said, Nurse Lawrence, it's hard. It's hard because they can mask or they'll just say, don't worry, it's a small thing, I'll get over it. We all say that. We all say that. It's something, don't worry about it. I don't want to blame, I don't want to bother you with my issue. But when you see someone that used to be a jolly fellow start being moody, when you see someone that used to go out start locking themselves inside, when you see someone that derive pleasure in things, now say, I don't want it, I don't want it. When you see someone start being low for a very long period of time, your alarm bell should start kicking. I'm not saying that they want to kill themselves, but start to engage them. Nurse Lawrence, just like, okay, you were not here when we talked about clinical depression. It's not just many people, once in a while, we feel low. Once in a while, many people in this world feel low. But when you feel low over days and weeks, alarm bell should start kicking. That is when people will now say, hey, you need to go to the hospital before you enter a crisis of whatever. So when you see these signs, people that used to be talkative stop talking. I'm a talker. Anytime I stop talking, come, maybe I'm in the mood. Anytime I stop laughing, your alarm bell should start ringing. So, what the simple thing I'm trying to say to family, whenever you notice a change in someone, especially negative change, that's that is going more than an hour or a day, is going on and on. Please, please, please go to the person and start asking questions. Ask them what's happening. Even just what, like you said, what's happening? Do you want to talk? Can we share? Some people, they don't know how to share. They don't know how to share. They don't know how to speak. They don't want to bother you. When you see changes in people that are normally, ordinarily on top, please, please, I'm screaming because your alarm bell should start ringing. They may not necessarily want to kill themselves, but you never know. Ask them, do you want to talk? Is something bothering you? Nurse Lawrence, am I correct, Nurse Lawrence?
Thank you very much, Nurse Angel. Here you are describing the early symptoms, the importance of recognize those early symptoms so that you could intervene. Um, and we are all humans. The best we can do is to offer some time to ourselves. You know, in hospital, we are paid to be nurses to look after people. Out in the community, a lot of people rely on families, and therefore, we teach carers what to look out for, just like we are doing now. We teach carers. Carers come in with exactly the same questions in the UK. They are asking the same thing, and I always pay carers the great respect that they are due for, because I always say to them, you are our eyes and ears. When a patient comes back to you at home, you look after them like we do 24 hours a day at home. So when you see someone and the behavior changes or the mood changes, and mood is a very good indicator in the sense that, like you said earlier on, someone who's happy-go-lucky suddenly become quiet and sometimes sort of as if they are preoccupied with things. This is when family members can start asking questions like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, let's talk. That sort of thing. And a lot of cultures have got gatherings where people sit down. I remember seeing my mother, my sister at night, they were all sitting in the group and they share stories. There's a lot of interaction between people, and quite often people will say, well, something is not quite right in my life because of this, and the group support each other. This is what is happening. And Faith, thank you very much for sharing. What you put down there is really powerful. It must be so difficult for you to hold that, and it's really fantastic. And this is what I mean, that when people start saying how they feel, we are encouraging people to say that. Uh, that's the first step, isn't it, in communication, in communicating how people feel. Dr. Temitope, over to you and your
Yes,
wisdom.
yes. Dr. Temitope, thank you, Nurse Lawrence, for that. Dr. Temitope, this is your question. Before I ask, I saw this comment by Nangog. Nangog Linus is a sweet, sweet family member of ours. She said something. I would have committed suicide. You see, thank you, Nurse Lawrence and Dr. Temitope. I cried last night, Dr. Nurse Lawrence and Dr. Temitope. I had a meeting with the admin team. So in our mind page, we have admin team that run the page without me. I only come to talk. I'm a talker. But there are people behind the scene running this great page, keeping people. We are almost 70,000. I think we should be 70,000 now. Yeah. Last time you were here, Dr. Nurse Lawrence, we had 60 something thousand. I think 62 or so. But now we are about.
I'm really interested what I'm seeing there. Nangok say I would have committed suicide some months ago due to depression. Nangok, it will be good if you could share what helped you in
Thank you.
your case to share with everyone What help? Was it medication?
Fantastic.
Did you have someone? Did you have counseling? Please share with us, Nango. Thank you very much for disclosing how you felt months ago.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nurse Lawrence. That is what Nangorg, if you can hear us, please can you tell us how you came out of it? Please keep typing it until I see it. Otherwise, don't give up. So, Nurse Lawrence and Dr. Temitope, I cried last night because people called because they heard you're coming back for the suicide part two. They started saying, you saw a comment on the page. Someone said to me, an admin said, they got a message like this from Nango to say that they nearly commit the week that we are planning to end it all was the week we spoke about suicide, and they did not. I cried. I said, truly, my admin, the admin of this page said yes. Admin Abel. He said yes. He said a lot of people are watching, they are not talking, they are listening. They feel empowered. So I want to specially thank you again. And this is an example, although she said 6 months ago, and we are waiting to see what she did. That 6 months ago she wanted to commit suicide, but she didn't due to depression, but we don't know how she came out of it. So, Dr. Temitope, on that note, we want you to talk to us. How do you, not just how, I want you to tell us the high risk victims. Because some people will say, oh, I feel like committing suicide. I feel like, who are the high risk victims that end up committing suicide? Then I'll be looking for Nangok's response. Thank you, Dr. Temitope. On mute.
Thank you very much. In our mind, always in my mind. My destiny is in my hand. In our mind talk show, we are the happiest people on earth. The privilege to write information is the right for right decision, quality decisions. And you've seen the emphasis on communication. Communication has 4 skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So please speak out. Nurse Angel will also say, do more of listening. You can listen to good music, good counsels. You can also learn to write things that interest you as a measure of coming out of your problems, right? Don't forget listening, speaking, and reading. Reading. You can read from your holy books too. Now let's answer 2 questions in one. Please permit to be very brief.
That's
The
fine.
previous question from Beatrice, you will appreciate the fact that if your premise is faulty, now ask yourself, how on earth will you want to think that all hope is lost? No hope is lost, not at all. Do you understand that even if peradventure you are a theist here, you believe in God, there is never a time that God loses hope in you? And do you know that often there is this sound rhetoric that until your strength is finished, God will always sometimes not come, and God never comes late. So there is no time that hope is lost. So it is not suitable to conclude that suicide is the best option. Please, not at all. You will make it in life. You can make it in life. Just one more trial, one more patience, one more effort. You will get there. Always believe one more attempt. And that one more attempt has no end until the success is achieved. Keep making that one more attempt. Remember Thomas Edison. Now, who are the category of people that are at high risk? From the Center for Disease Control, CDC, and from the WHO. Now, they want you to know that we have age categorization. We have the
Correct.
children, we have the youth, we have the adults. And they've
Correct.
actually come to say that usually there is a prevalence rate, usually more with those who are between ages 20 to 49. That is the peak, the most prevailing age. But again, children can also commit suicide. The aged can also commit suicide. Now,
Absolutely.
all age categories can be predisposed to
Fantastic.
suicide. There is no exemption. Do you know that even the clergy,
Oh,
even the
yes.
teachers in the classroom, the well-educated, the elites, even professors commit suicide? Do you know that even the poor in the society commit suicide? So everybody has that predisposing tendencies. But now let's also help ourselves. Always explore based on what Nurse Lawrence have told you. And is also asking that Nango will do. Share with us, how did you overcome when the thought to commit suicide arises, especially when you were at the stage of depression? But please learn to share your thoughts with others. Get close to people that loves you. Go away from sites that usually precipitate the thought of suicide. Listen to good music, godly music. Seek for counsel. Go and see the doctor, and you will always be glad that Nurse Angel 247, she's willing to pick your call. Even if the call is not going through, please don't mind, send a text. Nurse Angel wants you to know that your thought feels and runs through our mind. Your thought always in our mind. And gladly for you to know that Nurse Lawrence is willing to invest his years of experience to help you make a meaning out of your life. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I don't know if Nurse Lawrence want to say something about the high
No,
risk.
no,
Go
no.
on.
I want to suggest. Can you hear me, Angel?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Tematovi. That's really enlightening to hear that. I just want to ask a question, Dr. Tematovi. In African countries, I think we are lucky in England where we have Samaritan lines, we have helpline and all that, where people can ring confidentially if they are feeling really low and almost at the point of committing suicide. They can ring a helpline and speak to someone. And sometimes the Samaritans here will also offer them face-to-face sessions to help people. Are there such services in African countries, Dr.
I will
Demetri?
answer that, and I will let him to add if he wants to. I will answer that. Um, Nurse Lawrence, yes, I know. Yes, I know. Nurse Lawrence, remember, Nigeria has a law against attempted suicide and survival. So even when I will not lie to you, there are NGOs mostly, I have a lot of their contact as well, not just in Nigeria, everywhere, whether there are punishment for it or not. Yes, for people now, how to get them to go to them. However, last time when we were deliberating, I'll just mute you because of the switching sound coming. Now you unmute and talk. So, however, people have reported to say that when they go, in some cases, this the people reported, individuals reported. I do not, I have no experience or call them to confirm or validate the report I get from individuals. But individuals reported to me because we sent out the numbers for them to utilize it. They say that when they call, that they are not even professionals and they do not even give them support enough to come out of it. Rather, they a kind of are judgmental. And what point they are dragging is the fact that when they listen to you, my hand has touched the microphone. I hope it's not going to make noise. So when they listen to you, they say they need professionals. That those people we've always giving numbers to reach out to, that they do not really know how to support them. Rather, they ask them questions, and after asking questions, they start quoting the Bible and everything without understanding their own feeling. We get feedback, but at the same time, we'll continue to give out the contacts. Maybe before the end of the show, we'll give out some of them, and we'll still go out to say, continue to reach out to them, maybe talk to them. All we need is for them to speak out and for someone to give them a listening ear. But some of them say it's being used against them. But we still want them to continue talking, because at least if you're alive to complain, if you're alive to complain that is being used against you, to me it's better than you're no longer alive and not to complain. So, Dr. Temitope, if you want to respond, that's fine. Before you respond, Dr. Lawrence Nangok has sent a response as you asked. So, Dr. Temitope, when you answer, I will read out Nangok's response.
Thank you very much, Nurse Angel. Thank you very much, Nurse Lawrence. Now, the question is, do I want to believe, do Nigeria, do Africa have some of these support systems? Now, the answer is simple and straight. The Nigerian system do not have a functional structure like that. Like, for years, I've been involved in certain activities around Nigeria where we want to find out where survivors exist. Where can they go? What kind of services do they get? Then can we also create what we call a service provider link? Like rightly Nurse Angel did point out, there are private or religious or non-governmental organizational subsystems that provide such services. But how effective, how functional, and how judicious are those facilities being utilized? Like Nurse Angel rightly says, some of them are not professionally trained. And I'm glad to say that Nurse Angel should then pick up a challenge
Yes.
to also want to make the IOM in our Mind Talk show one of the supportive, available system in Nigeria, in Africa, that people can call through to and somehow get a link to Nurse Lawrence, and that will gladden their hearts and that will solve more problems. Thank you very much.
Nurse Lawrence, can you please tell him why I am happy? Please, Nurse Lawrence, tell him why I'm happy. Unmute, let me unmute you. Nurse Lawrence, please, tell him why I'm
I
happy.
think, Angel, I think you should tell Dr. Territory why you are so happy. I
Please,
can't
Nurse
speak for
Lawrence,
you. I
please,
can't speak for Go on,
please,
you
Nurse
go ahead.
Lawrence, because I talked to you about this issue. Can you please tell him why I'm happy, please?
Yeah, you did. You talk about training some people. Now, don't forget, Angel, you and I train professionals. Professionals have already got an understanding of mental illness and all that. So we are teaching people interventions. We need to be careful how we go about it. You and I can explore what we can do. I know in our trust we have mind and we offer carers some sort of support training. Maybe we could tap into those things and replicate them. But let's look at what are the options and we can plan that. But
You
I
say that.
really, Nango, your message is really important. And what I read there was how you went on, how you felt,
Can I
and
bring
your
it up
boss.
so everybody will read it? Nurse Lawrence, I've not read it.
Yeah.
Can,
So
can
I've read that and I'm thinking, there you are. Your boss spoke to you. And this is exactly what I'm hoping that this family, this 1,000, this family are beginning to do that. And when you do that with your relatives and they learn that and they'll continue doing it with the family, in months it will spread because
Wow.
people noticed that you
Not,
were a
not
shadow.
Lawrence, not Lawrence. I beg you in the name of whatever you want me to beg you with. I want to read that. I've not read it. Let me read it out.
Okay.
Then you make your, you talk about it. Nangok, having said she nearly killed herself, committed suicide 6 months ago, we Nurse Lawrence asked to know what made her come out. Nangog said, I was literally a shadow of myself throughout those months. I was staying indoors, and even when I go to work, I become so inefficient to work. My colleagues noticed my absent mindedness, and my boss spoke to me. I got to learn from this prestigious page about depression. Nurse Lawrence, you heard me say we talked about depression. We had depression part one, part two, part three, part four. Where consultants came to this page to talk about depression. So she said, I got to learn from this prestigious page about depression during those times, and I was learning how to come out of it. I enjoyed every personal experiences shared by Ruby and Co. And I told myself that I can do it. I've lost, I have lost of, I've lost a lot of weight because I can go 2 days without eating. So she said something about this page, this talk. As I said to you, last night I wept. I wept. How people were saying the week they wanted to commit suicide, they were feeding back to the admin. Was the week you guys came and spoke about suicide and talking. So they started, they said they never spoke. So Nurse Lawrence, go on, please.
No, it's just reflecting on what Nango said about people noticing her. And so there you have the behavioral symptoms, yeah, and her absent-mindedness, the way she was at work. So that led to her boss speaking to her. So this is where, and then Mango was resourceful enough to tap into this page where she's learning about it. So the information she gained also helped her. And hopefully, people will continue to learn from in our mind is always in my mind.
Nurse Lawrence, you've killed the family members by what you just said now. That's why they love Dr. Temitope, because he's always saying that. Thank you. And just to add to the risk factor, because I want us to start winding down. To add to the risk factor Dr. Temitope gave to us, you talked about age, Dr. Temitope. You talked about because World Health Organization said that about 25, that's the highest is between 15 to 29-year old, and the risk factor is when you are a male, also for high risk factor. That age bracket is also a risk factor. Even older adults, you talked about it. Older adults at that age bracket you gave, from 80 to and above, and sometimes even 70. Older adults that are lonely, older adult lonely is a risk factor. We have a whole lot of risk factor, and also I think we have something about mental health diagnosis. People with particular mental depression, when they are coming out of it, as not like, people will say depression. Depression in itself will depress you, make you weak, you can't move, you can't even eat. Look at Nangot, say she didn't eat for days, and now she has built the ability not to eat for days. But when you start coming out of it, that's when you have the strength to now commit suicide. We find this in bipolar people, don't we? When they are high, they are very happy. When they are so low and they are coming back, that's what there's a name they call it, is when their risk factor is really, really high. So, risk factor, younger adults, older adults, being a male, being lonely, having mental health disorder, having critical life events, serious critical life events is risk factor. You need to be worried when people lose their love. Some people lose their. We know this. We know this. We know this. You see, sometimes a partner dies, the partner for another partner follows. When someone loses their partner for a long time, and you think, oh, sorry, no, it's not enough. They are highly risk factor to commit suicide. When you have negative life experiences, or even when you fail in some people, poverty. I read a lot of comments. They are saying poverty, poverty. Yes, some people will say, I will have to end this all. I rather die than to be poor and wretched. Some people are homeless. They don't have a home. Some people have the coping skills to wait, continue hustling. Some don't. So these are risk factors. So, Temitope, just to add to what you said and to say thank you as well. I think we need to start rounding up. And one thing I want to say, as Dr. Temitope, Professor Flores has said, that yes, we discussed, Dr. Temitope, you said something very important. As if you were listening into our conversation, because we've got a lot of people saying something like witches and witchcrafts, this and that, stigmatization, which is at the height of it all, a whole lot of things because of suicide or the attempt of it. And when they don't think they have enough professionals to support. I heard that. I didn't know what to do. I know Nurse Lawrence is highly trained. He is. He may say, no, I'm not. He is absolutely. A lot of people, when I was looking at discussing this topic, they referred me to Nurse Lawrence. That is why he's here. He was highly recommended, not by one, two, or three. Not anybody I go to, they say, go to him, go to Nurse. Everybody directed me to him, and I came to him and told him. So when I heard all these things, just like your request, I said to Nurse Lawrence, you see, Nigeria and Africa is the main followers of the page. Many of the people are here on this in this country. Many are in Europe, Asia, India. We see a lot of our followers from there. But I said to him that we don't have the ability facility as we have here in UK. That I would like, I beg, I appealed, I said, I would like us, you especially, to a kind of train a number of family members to equip them with the skills to go and start training others. And he said we'll have a good discussion on it. So I want to say we are looking into it. We are definitely going to look into it because, as World Health Organization has said, suicide is an emergency, is a public emergency that requires urgent attention. And the only way, Nurse Lawrence is a giver, he's a giver. He's giving and he's looking for ways to impact more and more. I think this will give him, I believe, fulfillment as well. Even if we don't do anything, at least the thought of it is enough for us. At least we'll be happy we looked at it, and even if we couldn't do anything, we'll come back and say, sorry, we couldn't do anything. But we are going to seriously deliberate and look at how we empower, because most people on this page, and if you permit me, Dr. Temitope, even the first time you came, we heard what you said. But this time around, we are hearing what you're saying, meaning there's a lot of learning. There's a lot of relearning, because you come from a culture that has that mindset that is a taboo, is this and that. But look at you, look at what you're saying right now. It's a lot of changes, because you have really spoken, like you said, having stood side by side with Nurse Lawrence. Look at what you're saying. And also, I believe you've done a lot of research and everything, and we are able to talk to people, especially coming from that environment. So I want us to end. Maybe Nurse Lawrence, I don't know if I should take one more question from the family member, or if we want to say to them, you asked a question about if there is agencies to tap into, which we do have, but it's not like people are complaining, it's not adequate enough. Nonetheless, if you permit me, Dr. Temitope, I will still say to the family members, go and reach out to them. I will share the numbers. It's a lot. I will share the numbers on the page so family members can continue to reach out to them. And as you said, they can also reach out to me. I'll run to Nurse Lawrence. Nurse Lawrence, look at what they're saying. How can we help? So we will definitely reach out to them. Let me see if I will take one more question. Parents too should be advised to love children and treat them. Yes. My son suddenly wants to become a nurse. Wow. Because of you, Nurse Angel, he have kissed you on the screen. Oh my God. Wow. When you come, wow, this is amazing. Thank you. I want to see your son as well. Chinazam say one house help attempt Jesus. Okay, I'll read this quickly. Then we'll close. One house help attempted suicide by drinking hypo. That could be some drinks they take to kill themselves, just to pin it on her madam and implicate. I don't know what that means. It's your thoughts now, because the network has kicked him out. Just to pin it on the madam and implicate the woman. When she started screaming that her stomach is hurting so badly, the madam rushed her to the hospital. That's when the doctors forced her to say what she did. She confessed. The woman had to take her back to avoid another such incident. Okay, so Chinazan, having read that write-up, I see someone that was fed up. What I see is someone that was fed up, that wanted to end it all. I don't know what you mean by they want to pin it on their madam. I don't know what that means. I don't know how I want to kill myself to pin it on somebody. For me to want to kill Nurse Lawrence, quickly, I would like you to make a closing statement with this statement, because a lot of times people do not actually understand the suffering of the person that want to kill themselves. That is why they criminalize it, they punish you, they imprison you, they stigmatize you, they segregate you, they abandon you, they neglect you. They are looking at the attempt. They're not even looking at the reason behind you. A house help is someone that is serving a master. They forget to even check. That write-up, I find it consigning. I'm consigned with the write-up because a house help, number one, is a servant in Nigeria. When you hear house help, what they mean is servant. So for a servant to want to kill themselves, nobody is even asking, what is this servant undergoing in the hands of their master? Nobody said that. Nobody is even asking, what treatment? How will somebody drink to kill themselves just to pin it on the madam? You see, I feel worried. No, Nurse Lawrence, we need a lot of mindset training. And for this question or write-up to come in the midst of all this our talk, without the person thinking of the sufferings, the reasons, the causes, why is this person trying to kill themselves? That is not even considered in the write-up. What is considered is the pinning of the death. Nurse Lawrence, before we go, what do you have to say to expose? Let's look at the suicide attempter or the suicide victim. What do you think could they be suffering from to make them want to kill themselves? Not the act of killing, I want you to talk about the suffering, not Florence.
I don't think you, myself, or Dr. Temitope will ever
Your
know
network is shaking.
what, right?
Okay, good. You're
Yeah,
shaking.
I say, I don't think you or I or Dr. Temitope will ever get to know what suffering individuals are going through. Every person is unique, and that's why you and I talk about putting the person right in front of us because everybody has got their own unique story. And that by listening to them, can we, by being empathetic and putting ourselves in their shoes, only then can we hope to get to know how difficult it is for them. And like I said in the last session, it must be so difficult for someone on a day in, day out basis with this feeling of I want to kill myself, there's no hope in my life, I'm better off dead. It must be so difficult, especially if they've got family, they've got children, they've got father and mother. It is so difficult. You know, and therefore, I kind of sense that this web page and the group you're running is almost one area where we could provide support to people going through that. And I'm hoping that there will be people who are going through these, maybe anonymously, give us their story in this show and help other people to understand. And by doing that, what they're doing is they're vocalizing how they feel, they're sharing how they feel. All of us will try and help them to understand what they're going through, and maybe together we can help the problem solvers. So
Exactly.
this page is almost like a pioneer in itself. It's almost like a peer support group for a lot of people who are in desperate need for support. And people like yourself and Dr. Tematopi are here to provide that support. And it's a fantastic thing that's going on here.
Thank you very much. Before we hear from Dr. Temitope, the same Chinazan, because I said that I'm very concerned that the writer failed, and I scream it loudly, failed to consider the victim of the attempted suicide, only looking at the madam without even thinking. And they wrote a follow-up write-up that I'm even more concerned about. The follow-up write-up is that when the doctor first, you see, I don't understand. In fact, this is offensive to me. You Dr. Temitope, when I tell you that Nigeria, we need a lot of continued enlightenment, continue exposure, and continue support to understand the sufferings of the suicide victim or attempted suicide person. Look at the write-up. The doctor first. What is the meaning of that? I don't know what that means. When the doctor first, what does that mean? I am even sadder to read this follow-up to convince us that the woman want to pin the death of Dr. Lawrence, no, Lawrence, Doctor, who wants to die. For this girl to even, this writer, for this girl to even want to pin it on the madam. What has that madam done to her? To even make her to think of dying in order to pin? Is it to expose the madam of the struggle she's undergoing? Is it what? Maybe the madam is also innocent. But why should somebody want to end it all in order to showcase, pin, force, this and that? Why? Again, whatever reason, write up a statement, force, force, force. I don't even know what that means. So, whatever we are saying, can we please, I beg you, in the name of anything you believe in, can you stop? Stop for a moment and think of the victim. You see, Dr. Dr. Temitope, it has, look at the family member. Two family members here have publicly shared their experience. One said their mother killed themselves. Another one said they nearly did. And now we are hearing that another attempted suicide person survived. And nobody is even like Nurse Lawrence. When you heard Nango, you asked. You wanted to know. You were concerned about Nango. We were talking, but you were the only person that said you want to know what happened. You want to know how she came out of it. You wanted to understand Nango as a person. No, no, that is not the same thing, Nurse Lawrence. Apologies with our society. It's all about share. You try to this because you want to pin it on me. You try to do this. You want to show the world about you. Nobody even asks. Okay, the doctor that is forcing, what's the meaning of that? I don't even want to know. But did the doctor try to find out why did you want to even pin it on her? What is your struggle? Nobody even talked about her. It's about the madam, the rich people, the law, the God, the society. That is something we need to relearn. I'm sorry I'm screaming. I'm screaming because this is the second week. Look at what we are getting. Nobody is asking of the patient, the victim. Dr. Temitope, answer your sister. Sorry. You are muted.
In our mind, always in my mind. And my destiny is in my hand. Please, we must all appreciate the fact that Nurse Angel is only trying to show to the extent to which she needs you to see the practicality in her expression, that in our mind is always in your mind, and in your mind is always in our mind. So we are always thinking of the society, be it at a smaller level, at the middle, or at the bigger level. We are all in the society. It all affects everyone. Again, the answer to each of the questions asked as to the issue of suicide. Please understand. Number one, begin to deconstruct some words that are not healthy. One of them is suicide. Remove it from your diction. Take it away from your vocabulary, from your dictionary, and then begin to reconstruct some good words that assures you that life is good. Should I tell you one thing that gladdens my heart tonight? I now believe one day I will also stand to share with everyone, like Nurse Lawrence. I've got 50 years of experience. And I can assure you, forever, Nurse Lawrence will be my mind. Thank you very much.
All right, so Nurse Lawrence and Dr. Temitope, I want to appeal. Last time Nurse Lawrence started dance, let me give you guys secrets. So today I called Nurse Lawrence. Nurse Lawrence said, Angel, please, I want to go to the gym. I was like, wow, look at me. I'm not even going to no gym. He said, I'm on my way to the gym. You see, I want to also share one secret. It seems Nurse Lawrence is a ninja. Nurse Lawrence is a ninja, karate. He teaches karate. Nurse Lawrence, do you teach? Have you ever taught karate or something? And
No, I'm too old for things like that.
No, I'm asking now.
I'm too old.
Lawrence, be honest. Have you ever taught karate or something like that?
No. That was a long time ago. But another thing, exercise. And I say to my family, it needs to be like a way of life, because when you're exercising, it produces endorphins and all that. It also helps to make you feel good. So that's why even though I'm my age, I still hit the gym 3 times a week just to sort of keep myself, and it's a part of my life. So yeah, please do exercise, and a simple form of exercise you can do at home, just even walking around, um, will help. I think it will help some people. Thank you.
Nurse Lawrence, Amma, a sweet girl, I love her. She said, child, who born me, born Jim? Where do I see strength? Amma is a very young girl in her 20s or early 30s. Most of us, we don't even go to gym. And Nurse Lawrence is busy gymming, up and down, gymming. That was why. Immediately you stood up the last time and did one like this, people were like, wow, you won the dancing competition. We don't know why you stopped. So tonight, part of our suicide healing, healing therapy, and also making people laugh and be happy, just like you did the last time, Nurse Lawrence, is to dance completely. Yes, completely. Don't dance half and stop. Please, Nurse Lawrence, you have given us the words. You have given us the teaching and the training. Now, show us, make us smile. Please, please, please.
Ah, ah.
Yes, family members are saying, yes, yes, they're all saying yes, yes, they're all saying yes. Yeah, we love you. No, yes, yes, for you to dance. Yeah. So, Nurse Lawrence, please let us dance. And we have to mute you. I put a very nice song that you will like. Don't worry. I've muted everyone. I hope the speaker is still live. Let me see. Was it? Did you hear it? Say yes or no. Did you hear the music? Yes. So can we stand up and dance, please? This one is not. No, Nurse Lawrence, please, please, please. Thank you, Nurse Lawrence. Dr. Temitope, stand up. Don't carry your phone on your hand. Yes, let's all dance. Stand up and dance.
If you know, you know. What if you don't know? Now you know. Now you know. Now you know. If you know, you know. You think you call us in town. Now you know. Now you know. Never, never get home. Forget what I know. Yes. I'm a baller. How much is money? It's nothing. Balling, balling. Premium or nothing. Now you know. Now you know. Now you know. Now you know. Never, never get home. Forget what I know. Yes.
No, it's not finished. It's not finished. It's not finished. It's not finished.
Undefeated, undisputed, unopposed, luxury or nothing. Money is talking, money is talking. Blessings on blessings. What I'm on yes. I'm a baller. How much is money? Balling, balling. Premium or nothing. Now you know. Now you know. Never get boom. What I'm on
today with happiness. Wow, let me see. Um, Eric Falami said, today, today, I don't wear my dancing dress and shoe. I'm going to dance with Nurse Lawrence because I have learned dancing steps from him. Family, who won the dance show? If you guys, family, who won? If you like, say it's Nurse Lawrence. I'll kill you people. Suicide Part 2 is fire. Join us. That's fantastic. Some people are still dancing. Some people are still dancing. We are happy. Nurse Lawrence for president. Nurse Lawrence for president. Wow. Gabby, nice one, Dad. Gabby, Gabby, you didn't see me. You didn't see me. It's not fair. You're so partial. What about me? I feel bad. Dr. Lawrence. Nurse Lawrence for president. Can you imagine? Nurse Lawrence. Aisha. Nurse Lawrence. Everybody. Love the song. Nurse Lawrence. What about me and Dr. Temitape? Oh, he can dance. That's you. Amazing. Nurse Lawrence. Wow. You did dance well, man. Thank you, cities. Don't mind the others. Nurse Lawrence won the dancing. Hey, Nurse Lawrence. Jesus. Oh my God. Okoto Kalinos Angel with her shouts. Why won't I shout? When they say this Nurse Lawrence, they say, I am happy tonight. You see, Nurse Lawrence, this one, we will have to end it here. She's happy. And I want to say thank you all for joining in. We see the numbers. People really, really tuned in today as against the last time. We'll have to meet. And Nurse Lawrence, before we go, can you show them your new in our mind t-shirts? Please, you know he's a family member. Let's see the... Nurse Lawrence, okay, give us the last statement. Remember, in our mind is always in your mind. You did it this time around. Let's hear you.
In our mind is in my mind, and I hope is in everybody's mind. Keep up the good work, look after each other, and see you next time.
Wow. Thank you, sir. And Dr. Temitope.
Yes, in our mind, always in my mind, and that my destiny is in my hand.
Thank you.
Tonight, please, the knowledge does not end here.
No, thank you.
Please see reasons to speak. Keep learning, keep adding value to yourself. We sincerely appreciate Nurse Angel. We cannot say thank you enough. Nurse Lawrence, your presence had added more value to the program, and we can't praise you enough. Thank you all. The best family ever in our Mind Talk Show.
Yes, thank you very much. And just because of what Dr. Temitope said, can this conversation continue on the page? Please, we want this conversation to continue on the page. And in ending, we are going to talk. I'm going to meet Nurse Lawrence to see what we can do in terms of the last time, Nurse Lawrence, when we were talking about, it's a criminal issue in Nigeria. It's a criminal issue in Nigeria. What do? You say, stop. Forget about the law. For not really to condemn it. He said, forget about it. Go to the people. Go to the people and offer help. Offer help to the people. That is what makes the difference. And I want to say to you all tonight, let's forget about the fact that the law condemns suicide. It's not that we are encouraging it. That is not what we are doing here. On this page and on this talk show tonight, we are looking at the victim. It's all about the victim. What made them to do what they decide? Who will ever punish somebody with their own cut? If I want to punish somebody, Nurse Lawrence, I punish the person. I do something to the person. I won't cut my throat I don't understand. So can we think of this person? Can we think of the victims, the survivors, the suicidal people that are thinking of killing themselves? How can we help them? How can we help them? Can we find out how can we help them? Listening to them, talking to them, reaching out to them, sitting with them, listening to them, looking at supporting them. Give them the number, go to your GP, go to the trusted person, go call some of these NGOs and see how you can get help. Contact us as well. Please, let us think of the victim and the circumstances they find themselves. I will end by saying, in our mind is definitely in my soul, and your destiny is in your hands. No one else. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye bye.